Scrambling for answers to stop the violence in Oakland. One of the latest ideas, robots with shotguns. The plan is already causing an uproar for many people.
Police robots are not new. They've been used for years to disrupt explosive devices, allowing officers to do their work from a safe distance. Now, as first reported by The Intercept, there's an effort by Oakland police to equip some robots with shotguns.
God forbid something does happen, where this is the only option. It feels like, much as I hate to say it, robot with a shotgun is maybe our only hope.
The idea of armed robots first surfaced at a recent meeting of the Oakland Police Commission subcommittee on militarized policing.
It's a lot easier to just pull out a rifle or a gun and shoot somebody than it is to put a live round into this thing. But I think we are all concerned about the dystopian sort of universe where a robot sneaks into our room and shoots us.
Right now, considering the number of officers that we're short, we need all the assistance we can get.
The idea of taking out a bad guy without risking innocent lives appeals to District 5 Councilman Noel Gallo.
If it's a robot, that we're going to be using today, then I just want to hear the proposal so the public clearly understands the need and also the implementation.
It was back in July of 2016 when we saw the first instance of a police robot used to kill a suspect. Dallas police, involved in a standoff with a man who had killed 5 police officers and wounded 9 others, strapped a bomb to a robot and sent it to where the killer was holed up. Commission member Jennifer Tu wonders if police would use an armed robot only in such incredibly rare circumstances.
It's about a shift in how the department is approaching its use of weapons.
Oakland police and commissioners have reportedly agreed that for now, robots can only deliver pepper spray, though they may one day be able to deliver much more.
A live round can go in, absolutely, and you'd be getting a shotgun round.
Now, as first reported by local reporter Omar Yassin, as well as The Intercept, an Oakland Police Committee subcommission has been discussing adding the option to shoot projectiles to a remote-controlled robot. It would be similar to the robot used by Dallas police back in 2016. The Police Commission put the proposal on pause, but an OPD officer confirmed to The Intercept that the department is looking into the idea. During that meeting last month, the commission discussed possible restrictions for a robot that could fire deadly projectiles.
Erica. It's right out of a dystopian nightmare. It's a video showing a robotic dog firing a machine gun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. This is out of Russia, apparently, Erica. Look at this thing go.
Oh my goodness.
The dog looks the same as one made by Boston Dynamics, but it's apparently a knockoff robot dog. Somebody has had the bright idea to attach an AK-47 to it. The dog doesn't handle the recoil very well. It goes back on its robotic hind legs.
Yes.
One Twitter user chimed in, Erica, saying, quote, "I'm all for gun control, but if they start deploying robot dogs with assault rifles, we need to start arming ourselves." You got to start maybe getting your dog Luna to start packing heat or something.
I don't know if she'd be able to go up against a robot dog, but this kind of reminds me, I mean, I don't know, there's a Netflix show called Black Mirror, and there was an entire episode dedicated to this person trying to outrun a robotic dog that was chasing. It's kind of a sort of dystopian technology story, right?
I love how Hollywood's came up with an idea they thought was so far out it could never happen, and here we are.
Yeah, crazy.
Tesla chief Elon Musk among a group of 116 founders of robotics and artificial intelligence companies who are calling on the United Nations to ban killer robots.
As far as his worry about killer robots, you got to be clear, he's not talking about right now and robots that go into a building and explode a hidden bomb. He's thinking about the out years and truly autonomous killer robots in large numbers that will be launched and then be on their own. And you can paint no end of potentially disastrous scenarios. So I think, you know, beyond the science fiction aspects, and we live in a science fiction age, it's now becoming a fact, there are real concerns here. And yet, as a historian, I'll tell you, no matter what the UN does, they're probably inevitable, because even if we don't build them, the Chinese and Russians will. And that's a lousy argument, I know that, but I'd say Musk is right to worry, but you can't stop that train.
Look a little closer, and it's a city under siege. Piercing the air around the Fort Campbell base, a mob of drones on the hunt. There's nobody around here. The city's been constructed by a US military experimental unit to see how swarms of unmanned systems can storm urban environments. At least 250 drones and school bag-sized rovers, working with different levels of autonomy. They're looking for high-value items, but must work around hazards in the area. DARPA first invited tech teams onto this program in 2017. This is the final experiment. The idea is for swarms to gather intelligence for living, breathing troops from areas with tall buildings and poor lines of sight. Now, this could all feel a little bit close to home, but they're all moving to the tune of human commanders who lay out algorithms from afar. So how concerned should you be watching this from a quiet town of your own?
It's easy for us to perhaps envisage that being our house that's being looked at, that's being observed from the ground and from above. And perhaps somebody's looking at it with an intention to do us harm in some way. So yes, it should be uncomfortable, because war is uncomfortable and military forces, they do some terrible things in terrible situations, and hopefully for good reasons. Every major step forward in military technology tends to bring a degree of both concern. And then on the military side, there can be enthusiasm because there's a new capability that might come and make the job easier. What might look suspicious from one end of a street, from an airborne drone, might actually look quite benign when checked from 3 or 4 other angles. And the beauty of a swarm is you can get those different perspectives at the same time. What appears on screen is probably more impressive looking than the reality of what can be applied right now.
Previous workouts under the Offensive Swarm-Enabled Tactics program have seen a focus on urban raids.
From the information released, they're not even trying to identify humans, say with facial recognition. The more controversial area, of course, is if you develop that kind of capability further and then put an armed system in the way.
Teaming swarms with humans is a priority. DARPA asking groups to take control on mobiles and tablets, as well as virtual and augmented reality platforms. The UK wants man, not machine, to make the final decision on pulling triggers. But will others share the same ideas when it comes to swarming this technology?
There is a new arms race. It's a new drones arms race to be on top of the technology. Imagine group like ISIS or their successors or affiliates. Because the technology is available off the shelf, they can be adapted and used. What is really difficult, and that's the great challenge, is having multiple of these drones all talking to one system. I think the more complex, the more it really needs entire countries and national infrastructures to support the development.
Special Hive vehicles were also on show, transporting and deploying up to 80 drones nearby and then charging them when needed.
The large Hive vehicle, in some ways, is an acknowledgement of the fundamental limitation of these small drones, and that is the battery life. If I was trying to counter these drones, which are delivered by a vehicle that charges all its batteries, I would only be thinking, how do I counter the vehicle?
DARPA says these swarms are rapidly nearing availability for future operations, and you don't have to look much closer to see why.
There should always be a human in the loop, but we're moving beyond it.
Customer pilots directed almost 3,000 precision strikes last year. We're super proud of it. It allows you to separate the bad guys from the good. It's a big deal. But we have something much bigger. Your kids probably have one of these, right? Not quite. Hell of a pilot? No. That skill is all AI. It's flying itself. Its processor can react 100 times faster than a human. The stochastic motion is an anti-sniper feature. Just like any mobile device these days, it has cameras and sensors, and just like your phones and social media apps, it does facial recognition. Inside here is 3 grams of shaped explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents. They used to say guns don't kill people, people do. Well, people don't. They get emotional, disobey orders, aim high. Let's watch the weapons make the decisions. Now, trust me, these were all bad guys. Now that is an airstrike of surgical precision. It's one of a range of products. Trained as a team, they can penetrate buildings, cars, trains, evade people, bullets, pretty much any countermeasure. They cannot be stopped. Now, I said this was big. Why? Because we are thinking big. Watch. A $25 million order now buys this. Enough to kill half a city. The bad half. Nuclear is obsolete. Take out your entire enemy, virtually risk-free. Just characterize him, release the swarm, and rest easy. These are available today. We have a distribution network taking orders from military, law enforcement, and specialist clients.
The nation is still recovering from yesterday's incident, which officials are describing as some kind of automated attack, which killed 11 U.S. senators at the Capitol building.
They flew in from everywhere but attacked just one side of the aisle. It was chaos. People were screaming.
You can see high windows, very small, precisely punctured to gain entry to the building.
What did you do for the victim? I just did what I could for him. Things weren't even interested in me. They're just buzzing.
Government sources admit the intelligence community has no idea who perpetrated the attack, nor whether it was a state, group, or even a single individual.
So if we can't defend ourselves, then we strike back.
We are investing very heavily in classified defense projects.
We make it our deterrent like our nuclear deterrent. We stockpile in the millions, the billions.
At key facilities, the White House, the New York Stock Exchange, Wall Street.
Safe in their homes.
Well, we wish we had boots on the ground in every community in this country, but we don't. So our instructions
Ollie?
and our suggestions are to stay in touch with
Ollie, oh, hi. Hi, Ollie, honey. How's Edinburgh today? How are all your studies going, huh?
Good. Great.
Oh, great. Hey, aren't we doing a video call today?
I'm kind of with people, so.
Oh, well, come on, Oliver, put her on.
Oh no, it's not like that. No, wait.
Oh, well, listen, I see some photos here with somebody, and I can see lots of likes, and what's that all about? Oh, wait a minute, here, and on your
Mom, she's on the spy stuff in the military.
What is this video right here? Oh, God, no, I'm not going to click on that.
It's just this human rights thing about oppression or whatever.
Honey, you're not going into politics, are you? I mean, no protest march.
Safe here, just like you said it would be.
Heavy traffic approaching the A720 this morning due to police.
Police are not saying this morning what prompted the alert.
Claim relaxing firearm legislation would be useless against the so-called slaughter bots.
Is to stay away from crowds. When indoors, keep windows covered with shutters.
Protect your family. Stay inside.
Can you hear me? Oliver, can you hear me? Listen to me.
I can hear it.
Authorities are still struggling to make sense of an attack on university campuses worldwide, which targeted some students and not others. The search for a motive is apparently turning to social media, and a video shared by the victims exposing corruption at the high.
But it's far from surprising. The weapons took away the expense, danger, and risk of waging war. And now we can't afford to challenge anyone, really. It's not even the smallest fringe group or a crank.
Who could have done this?
Anyone.
Dumb weapons drop where you point them. Smart weapons consume data. When you can find your enemy using data, even by a hashtag, you can target an evil ideology right where it starts.